Before experiencing a major transformation in your life, there are signs. Your soul is telling you you're ready to live a different reality. So maybe you sense something's coming, that change is in the air, that the universe is preparing something big for you. So in this video, I'm going to share with you 7 signs that a big transformation is going to come in your life, and important advice on how to deal and manage those moments. Hey beautiful souls, I'm Jenna Blossoms. I'm a French author of numerous books and oracle decks. I'm a spiritual teacher, meditation teacher, and I've been sharing for 8 years now in the French-speaking world my spiritual teachings, transmissions, and meditations. And now I have recently started to share on this YouTube channel in English. And today the topic is change. Change that's coming and the signs that we can see before it happens. Because remember that every change that is occurring in your life, in your external reality, always starts from the inside. The first one is this one. You feel like you're losing your bearings. There is internal deconstruction happening. Maybe you feel lost. Maybe you don't recognize yourself. Your sense of identity is changing. Maybe you don't recognize yourself in the habits that you have or the reactions that you have in your daily life, but you feel a little bit ill at ease in this life that you have, and you don't really know where you are. Basically, you feel a bit lost. The second sign is that you no longer know what you want. If you were working on a project before, maybe you don't want to work on it anymore. Your desires and ambitions are changing. Maybe you have a shift of focus. Maybe you feel like the future is a little bit blurry because you don't really know what you want in life anymore, what you want to focus your energy on. And some of the things that you were working on or that you were focusing your energy on do not feel maybe as relevant as they once did. So this one is the moment where you feel like your desires, your ambitions, your goals, they don't really align with the version of yourself that is starting to come to the surface. And this one, as well as the first one and many of the other signs that are coming, is a little bit uncomfortable because you don't have a new vision yet. You don't have new desires, you don't have new goals. So you have that energy and you feel a little bit at loss with what you can focus your energy on and where to go in life. But bear with me, because this is a sign that a new version of yourself, new goals, new ambitions are gonna emerge at some point. It's just not the time yet. The third sign is the fact that you don't know who you are anymore. Now this one can be a bit scary because this is really the moment where your internal sense of identity is crumbling. And we are extremely attached to our identity, to our ego, because it creates a safe structure. It feels like we know who we are, what we want in life, what our story is, our personality. But when this starts to shift and some of this part of what we thought we were is starting to die, then this feels very insecure because our ego is here to protect us, right? It's here to make us feel safe and that things don't change, and it wants us to survive. So when that sense of identity is dying and you're letting go, shedding of all of those old versions of yourself, your ego is really scared and it's trying to grasp onto something, but it doesn't have a lot of things to grasp onto anymore. So this is the awkward moment because the ego is trying to hold on to what it knows, to what feels secure, and you're shedding those old parts of yourself, and at the same time there is a new version, a new identity, a new vibration that is starting to take place in yourself, but it's very new, it's very subtle, and you're not really accustomed to it yet. So you have to take your time, and you're in that in-between state, inner state, that's really uncomfortable. But deep down, you know that your soul is very subtly trying to push you into a new direction. It's showing you new ideas, new intuitions. It's telling you that this old self or this old reality is done. The next one is the fact that you have agitated nights and maybe vivid dreams and quite intense dreams. The thing is, while you're going through that shift of ending one cycle and starting a new one, and your subconscious mind just shows the internal conflict that is happening inside you. So because there is a big transformation happening inside of you, and the fact that in your sleep your mind is less present, you're gonna feel all of those fears, all of those emotions rise to the surface while you're sleeping. And so you may have nightmares or really weird dreams that you don't really understand the meaning of, but you can feel those emotions. There is like an internal turmoil that is boiling inside of you and just showing in your nights. The next one is quite common. It is that emotions are surfacing. Emotions you don't really understand the cause of, because you are just living that internal vibrational change. And so because there is a lot of movement inside of you, inside your mind, inside your emotional body, you can have resurfacing of emotions, like you may want to cry at a weird moment or suddenly feel very frustrated or impatient. So those kind of things may be just another sign, not one alone of course, but another sign on top of the others that there is a big change happening for you. I remember for myself when I was around 21 and my life was just about to drastically change. I was studying political science, I was in a very academic life, and I was about also to work in an NGO in the humanitarian field. And I was crying all the time because I didn't really understand why, to be honest, but I felt like something was wrong, but I just couldn't put my finger on it. And so I was really at loss for understanding what was the root of those emotions, but I was crying like randomly, I don't know, like after my day or in the morning, or when I was talking to a friend, or in random places. And the more I started to get in touch with my feelings, and the more I let go of wanting to understand and just surrendering to the process that was happening inside of me, First of all, I released those old emotions, and I started to sense that something new was sprouting, was growing inside of me, that there was light at the end of the tunnel, but also that there was this new direction that I was at the beginning it's very blurry, right? But it's starting to show up, and it's starting to be clearer and clearer every time you put it one step after the other. So those emotions are just a reflection of what's happening inside of you and the grieving of the old self that is dying. And once I started following that inner calling, my life drastically changed. Like I said, I opened a blog, I opened a YouTube channel, I started channeling my first book, and then I became a very successful author in France. And this was 8 years ago, and I've never looked back and had any regrets, because actually, in the end, I really felt like I was at the right place and fulfilling my mission in a way. Now, here's a sign about your external reality. You may start to witness things ending. It can be a romantic relationship, it can be a work relationship, it can be a friendship, but you can sense that you are maybe drifting away from some of the people that you knew. You can also maybe have a job that's ending, or a project again that you were working on that is just either you're quitting on, or it's not working anymore. Maybe you have financial problems, or you can tell that a lot of the things that were once established in your life are being deconstructed or being ending. It's really the sign that there's a cycle that is terminating, and that you are letting go of all of the people, situations and realities that were a vibrational match to a certain frequency, but because you're moving on to another frequency, you're preparing yourself to receive a new level of reality, new relationships, new projects for work, or new financial situation, and so on. And I know it can be very unsettling, very scary, because you feel like, okay, I'm lost, I don't know who I am anymore, and all of those things are ending. And we as human beings, we really don't like the moment where we don't have control on things anymore, where we don't know what the future is going to be like. And so once again, I'm sharing those signs with you, first of all, to give you a little bit of context and to help you have faith, but also to show you that it's okay to at some point be in between things, to experience the emptiness of not knowing, of not having it all figured out, of being in that uncomfortable in-between state, because it's very important that we embrace that moment, to have a white canvas, to start a new cycle, to accept a new level of reality, to manifest something different. So I hope before I talk about the last sign that you are not listening to all this and saying, okay, I'm doomed and this is absolutely terrible. I don't want any transformation in my life. And the last one is that you may have very anxious and repetitive thoughts. Again, anxiety alone is not necessarily a sign that something huge is going to happen in your life. That would be too beautiful to be true, I think. But the fact that you have repetitive, sometimes obsessive, or sometimes doubtful thoughts is just, again, a sign that your mind is holding on to something. It's trying to make sense of what's happening. It's trying to, grasp to the ship, because you can tell it's sinking. And so this is it can be a stressful moment in your time. So I would recommend that you really use those tools that you have, either meditation, journaling, or going to a therapist, because those moments of transformation can be emotionally unsettling, psychologically unsettling, and of course physically, because you can feel a bit drained as well because of all of the reasons that I explained before. But just remember that it's your ego holding on to the thoughts that it knew before, holding on to what it can really. And so the more you acknowledge it, the more you can let go of those old thoughts, the more you can recognize that they are just your ego thought, that they are just protective thoughts, that they are just here to show you a level of reality that, you in some way you don't want to let go of. And I guess the awareness that you have during that process is going to help it move faster, happen with more ease and fluidity, and you'll easily go to the next chapter in your life and start that new cycle because you have surrendered completely. So you've guessed it, an advice I can share with you, among others, is the fact that accepting that moment, accepting that in-between state is the first step to moving past it. My guides have once told me that it's not a problem to solve to not know what's going to happen next. And I've had so many people contact me, or in the events that I do, or in the online workshops that I do in France, I have a lot of people tell me, I don't know what I want to do with my life, and I feel like there is something new that's coming, but I still don't know, and it's so frustrating, and they're driving themselves crazy with that. And I always say that message that I've channeled once, my guides told me, it's not knowing is not a problem to solve, it's just a state of not knowing. And if you wait, if you surrender, if you embrace just the fact that you have a white canvas in front of you, the inspiration is going to come at the right moment. Just live your life fully, and it's going to come naturally at the right moment when the fruit is ripe, and not before and not after. But remember what is happening. There is an internal upheaval that allows for reconstruction. You are forced in a way or pushed by your soul to abandon an old version of you, a part of you that you knew, that you were comfortable in. But this is for the best. This is for your soul to take more space, to be more present in your life, in your decisions, to have a more fulfilling, happy life that's more connected to who you truly are in the inside. And yes, you will learn to meet yourself again, to reconstruct yourself anew, not in every dimension of your life probably, but in some of them, because you will be kind of a new person, so you will show up differently in your relationships, in your work, in your projects, in the way that you take care of yourself and everything else. Of course, like I said, because it can be a very difficult period to go through, you do not have to go through it alone, so you can work with a therapist, you can have guidance, you can have, friends that are really good at listening to you, because it doesn't mean that because we're welcoming a positive change, it's not quite difficult to live. Also, while you embrace that situation, have faith. Have faith that there is something else that's coming. The hope and the faith that you will cultivate in that moment is gonna, be in you, is gonna stay with your heart for the rest of your journey. And while you do that, you can observe what is emerging. You can really have the awareness to realize that you have new desires, a new way of living, new habits, new reactions, or just that, you know, that you can sense the change is coming gradually at first, and then sometimes exponentially very quickly. So you can also be like, use that time to prepare for that new life that is birthing, to really accept that you are being accompanied by life to a new level of reality. And finally, I want to say that there is this collective process of ascension that we are all going through, and that's, you know, pushing us to evolve all the time, to, you know, we grow out of our old selves all the time in a cycle that is very much quicker than before. So you may feel like sometimes, you know, you don't have a lot of time to rest in a new reality, in a new situation, but it's helping your soul grow so much. And the fact that you are riding those waves of transformation is the sign, a beautiful sign, that you are embracing those higher vibrations that we are receiving in this beautiful period that we are going through of transformation, collective transformation. Alright, so here it is for this video. I want to ask you, do you recognize yourself in some of the signs that I shared? Maybe you have tools that you want to share with the community to help other people go through those journeys, and especially if you've gone through one of those transformative moments and you want to share what's behind the curtain, what's after the transformation. It's going to help inspire and maybe help other people have faith if they're going through that journey themselves. I also encourage you to share that video if you know someone who may be going through a deep moment, a difficult moment, as a beautiful way to inspire them and to help them keep faith. And if you want to go further, I have another video that I'm going to put just right here, where I explain a message that my guides have been sharing with me for the past 6 to 7 years, that is about our current mission and the collective transformation that we are going through right now. And I think it will probably inspire you to accept that change that is arriving in your life. So I'll see you in the next video, and take care.